Bucket Podcast with your hosts, Krystle Matar and Michael R Fletcher. Now sit back and prepare to be entertained.
Since we've
Greetings and welcome back to the Dripping Bucket Podcast, and we are once again totally ready for this. It has been, as Krystle was about to say, a while since we recorded anything. I think the last one was Paul Lucas. The last episode?
The last one was Jeff Brown. So
that's right. That's right.
We recorded with Jeff, and then we dove directly into bottles of whiskey for the holidays, and then it took us a while to crawl back up out of it.
Many bottles. Yeah. Probably too many.
Speak for yourself, buddy. I don't believe in that kind of hoax.
All right. Before we get into the actual subject that we decided we were going to talk about today, let's talk about alcohol for a second, because I know we both kind of like it. So yeah, I have noticed a trend in my behavior. So I now know, because I've experimented with it. If I stop drinking, entirely zero alcohol, I feel better. And the longer I go without booze, the better I feel. I have also noticed that I sleep better and I get smarter. They're tied together. I think the more I sleep, the more sleep I get, the smarter I get. And this continues up to a point where I swear to fucking God, it becomes unbearable. And
I am too aware of my surroundings, and I don't like this.
And I am miserably happy and well balanced and thinking clearly. Yeah. And the only way to fix that is
then the
whiskey.
Real world can reach you there and torture you.
And then I get a bottle of whiskey and I drink it over however long.
A very short period of time.
Not that long. And at which point, at the end of the bottle of whiskey, I'm like, fucking hell, I am not sleeping well. I feel like a bag of ragged ass. I have to stop drinking because this is stupid. I already know I feel better when I'm not drinking. And then the process starts again.
It's funny that you pretend it takes only one bottle of whiskey for you to realize that, rather than several.
So
if it's the same brand, then it counts as one bottle, right?
Oh, is that how that works?
Yeah,
I find if the bottle's big enough, one will usually now do it. If that wasn't previously the case. I mean, I have done.
If the bottle's big enough, what? Have you unlocked some extra size of?
Well,
you buy the JP Weiser in the jug.
And I don't. Is that
what's going on?
No. You can get Jameson in like a 750, or I don't know what the big one is, like 1.5 liters or something like that. I don't remember.
You can get 1.5. Okay,
you can get larger bottles. But anyway, I think I was going to go somewhere with that, but now it's gone.
Well, I guess the point is, why do you do this to yourself over and over?
Yes, that is the question, is why can't I just learn? I mean, I know the answer, but I know the answer on both sides. And once I'm sober for long enough, I don't want to be sober anymore. But once I've been drunk for long enough, I don't want to be drunk anymore.
Yeah. So it sounds like you need to try experimenting with moderation.
Fuck off with moderation. That's a myth.
Sobriety is only good for you in moderation, is my personal life choice. And so if you gotta coast at like a slightly less inebriated level of whiskey.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I am never ever stumbling drunk blackout. Nothing like that. For me, it's a case of, there is a comfortable blanket between me and the world. I'm good. I'm not slurring. I'm not an asshole. Any of that shit. I'm just kind of rounding those sharp edges. But
you just maybe just a little bit less, and see if you can maintain that longer.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, so today we are going to talk about your Kickstarter.
After their really good advice about how to avoid sobriety, we're gonna dive into one of the reasons that I'm avoiding sobriety so doggedly at this moment.
So, I don't know. Tell us about where your Kickstarter is at right now and what you're doing and what's happening.
Yeah, so I am in the pre-save
Pre-launch
stage of pre-launch. It's that page is there, and you're supposed to go and save the page. And if I have enough people save the page, then allegedly there will be enough people to not only fund but also get some stretch goals. So that's where I'm at right now. And I think, seeing as Jeff's episodes are coming up next, this will probably actually launch while I'm still in the pre-launch phase. So this is my last chance to remind people to please go save my page so I can make my stupid book. Yeah, and it's stressful. It's I knew it was going to be stressful because I watched you go through it, and I was like, man, I do not envy him. And then for some reason I decided to do it as well. I don't know.
Yeah, wisdom never been one of our strengths.
Yeah. I feel like this is tied, although it seemed like a non sequitur, it's tied to that self-destructive urge that we both just discussed, where it's like, I'm not miserable enough in my daily life. I think what I need to do is start a Kickstarter. So yeah, it's been really stressful, but also really cool to work with the artists, because I got some stuff done ahead of time so that I could show people things.
That's smart.
Yeah, that's what some guy that
some crazy guy
told me. Yeah.
So what have you got sort of prepped for launch? What's ready to go, and who did you get to do it?
Okay, so I went with the same foil designer that you did, because she's awesome. Yep. So that is Rachel St. Clair, aka Claymore Covers, I think.
Yeah.
And she was fun to drink with at 2 a.m., so I figured she would also be fun to work with, because that's the measure of good business in this industry. And so yeah, I remember kind of telling her vague stuff, it's kind of, Victorian era, and I don't even know what else. Maybe I showed her the covers I already had, and I had absolutely no concept for what she might do with this, and just nothing. This is not. I'm pretty sure I made it clear that it's not my strength. I do the words, and somebody else does the pictures.
Very similar. I basically threw word salad at her and was like, so "Here, make something tasty out of this," and she did. It was
exactly.
Awesome.
And she did. Yeah, exactly. The very first concept that she came back with, it was like, holy shit! That looks so good. And it was just okay, well, I'm going to take one design element from option 1 and put it on option 2. And we're done. That's it. We're good. We're good to go.
Yeah.
And I always, I give it a couple of days before I decide, because there's this awareness that, I should know what I'm talking about, and I should have an opinion about what things look like. But yeah, I didn't have anything. I got nothing. Rachel is just that good, or I'm just that bad.
Yeah. So, I remember she pitched me 2 concept ideas.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, they're both so cool. How do I pick one? Yeah. And then I was like, oh, one goes on the front cover, one goes on the back cover. Done, I'll take them both.
Done. Yeah. And so, I feel really comforted hearing you say that, because now we're either both stupid together, or Rachel just really is that good.
She's that good.
Yeah.
Thank you. So have you done do you have dust jacket art yet?
No. So I added the dust jacket art as a stretch goal because
crazy.
I guess just from the other authors that are in the same period as me, the late 1890s, folks really like the exposed cloth cover on this genre specifically. And so having an option of a dust jacket is actually apparently something that people really appreciate for this time period, because one of the comps that the folks at Merrick Books sent me was a book that takes place in 1898, And what she did is she made her book to the trim specifications of what would be available in 1898.
Oh, cool.
Right?
That is very cool.
Yeah, and like it's such a gorgeous book. And she's already on her second one now. And I just like I ordered one just because it's like I was looking at it for research, and I was like, man, that's cool. Oh man, that's cool too. So I bought one. So
Yeah.
thanks, Jacqueline, for stealing so much of my money.
Something while I'm thinking about it. So I was different time era, but was also very much influenced by my own sort of small collection of hardcovers, like old hardcovers of like early science fiction and stuff. And the one thing I noticed is they all have that rounded spine. No idea what the fuck it's called, but the modern default is the square spine, is the sort of like hard flat spine. So if you want something that has that more classic look, which is what I wanted and what I did, you have to specify that rounded spine, and there's a word for it. Cool. And I don't know what the fuck it is.
I bet Merrick Book knows what the word.
Oh, they know for sure.
Yeah, they're smart. They're way smarter than us, which is why we both hired them. Because I think that was the biggest barrier of entry for me. Trying to imagine how the fuck I would even know what to ask for, and also how the hell I would fulfill this. Because you and I are not Bengali. We are not spray paint books in our own friggin' living room ambitious. We are a mess. And so the idea of like having, I don't know, 300, 500, 1,000 books somewhere in my house, but they're not mine. I have to send them to somebody else who paid a lot of money for them. I couldn't do it. Yeah. So then when you went through Merrick, and were talking about, you'd send poor Andrew these messages at 3 a.m. because that's when you think best, and he had answers for you. It's like, okay, I can do that. So what I'm saying is all of my suffering this month is your fault.
Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah. I actually, as I recall, and I don't think this is spilling any great secret, Andrew, back when my Kickstarter was sort of in the pre-launch stage, I think he said like, if you get 300 to 350 sort of saves or follows of your pre-launch page, you're kind of good. That means you'll probably fund. And if you get more than that, then you're kind of doing better.
So either the numbers have changed or you're remembering wrong.
Both are possible.
And I'm not sure so what he told me was 250 saves is the threshold at which we don't have to worry about funding anymore, and we'll probably get what am I looking for? Stretch goals.
Right.
After 250 saves, give or take. So I'm sitting at, as of today, the 5th, I'm sitting at about 110, so I still have like halfway to go. And it's incredible how much mental energy that takes. Like just that knowledge of, okay, halfway there, I gotta get another, I gotta double that number by the time we launch. Even if there's nothing I can do, like I'm standing in the kitchen making lunch, there's nothing I can do about Kickstarter at that time. It takes so much space in my brain of like, I gotta think something, I gotta think of something. And I knew it was going to be stressful like this.
And then it's worse.
And somehow it's worse. Because it's like, when I was listening to you talk about it, how it takes up so much mental energy, you were only talking about it during the funding, like right up to when you launched, and then immediately after you were talking about how stressful it was. But I remember thinking, oh, that sounds just like the Spiffbo stress, and I survived that, so I'll be fine. And I'm not fine. It's not okay. Yeah. Nothing's okay.
I can't remember. I want to say the pre-launch stage was more stressful than later. Okay. Actually, no, I don't think it was. They were stressful in different ways. The pre-launch stage was stressful because...
A question mark.
Yeah, and I'd sunk several $1,000s into art already, to for the pre-launch, so it would look good. So if it didn't fund, I was going to be out like $4,000 or $1,000 at least. So that was like fuck.
Why?
Surprised don't have that lying around is like, oh, it's fun
Yeah,
money.
yeah.
The second stage, actually, the campaign was so fast and funded so quick, I didn't really have to worry about it. But after that, once it had sort of funded and, we knew what was going to be involved, it was stressful then in a different way. Yeah. Because now it's like, how do I make fucking sure this is really as good as I promised? Yeah. And like part of that's hiring the right people, that's getting everything in on time. But I mean, the reality is you just don't know. And you get what's called I think a dummy copy, which is like the cover, the dust jacket, the hard case, and it includes the interior illustrations, but not the actual text layout stuff.
Right.
And so it's a whole pile of blank pages with the odd piece of art stuck in it. And so there is a level at which I just have no fucking idea what this book is going to look like.
Yeah.
And I think it's now been loaded onto ships and is, trucking its way across the ocean at this point.
Wow. I didn't realize that they had shipped to you.
They are shipping. I mean, it'll be here in a couple of months, and then it'll head out after that. So we're looking at, I think, spring delivery sometime, but no hard dates. But it's still that I would really like to have seen like just one, so I can go like, oh fuck, I screwed this up, whatever the fuck it is, and sort of like fix it.
I guess that's the big difference between our experience as indies, where we can pretty much order unlimited proofs.
I always order test copies before I go live. I've got a room full of the fucking things. Yeah,
it's scary that like the stakes are higher and the control is lower. That's not a fun mix.
No.
Oh man.
Yeah. So what's up next for you with the Kickstarter?
Well, I'm just in that process of like, at this moment, several people have briefs for what I need before it launches, and I'm just waiting as patiently as humanly possible, because I know they're busy. Like I know they're probably working on it. They have not ghosted me.
Hopefully.
But yeah, hopefully. Although like Rachel's great. Like I do actually hear from her every couple of days, so I know logically that it's coming.
Yep.
But I'm just in this weird limbo of there's nothing I can do right now, and there's probably not going to be anything I can do tomorrow. But the launch day is actually still coming closer, and so it's just this feeling of next week is going to be stressful, because then I'll be uploading all of those, all those things, and writing out my stretch goals, and oh man, it's a weird limbo at this exact moment. But hopefully, the nice thing about Kickstarter is if I'm not actually ready by the intended launch date, we can just wait. Like it won't go live until I click the button.
Yeah.
Which is nice. Like it adds a little layer of room for a disaster. But it's just a weird feeling. Like I like a to-do list. I will procrastinate on the to-do list until the last moment. But I still like having it, and not really having it feels weird. So that's where I'm at mentally and emotionally, and why I probably sound so frazzled.
Yeah. Happily, Kickstarter for book 2 is no less stressful.
Oh, is that so? Are you starting a second one?
Yeah. It's it won't. The pre-launch page won't go live until I've got like my dust jacket and hard case art, and I've got artists working on those already. The campaign won't go live until book 1 has been shipped and people have it in their hands, so that they know what book 2 is kind of going to be.
And
So
hopefully, like, they'll be opening it in their hands and they'll be like, wow, this is so amazing. I need the other one. And then you go,
exactly.
surprise!
Yeah, hopefully they're super happy with book one and
Yeah.
and want, the rest of the series. But that's part of why it's so stressful that I can't actually see book one, because my plan is to actually spend more on book two, and make it even cooler. So I am going to be even
Speed.
more in the
In the
hole
hole in advance.
by the time launch comes for book two than I was for book one, which is fun. But I've got some like great artists, and I can't wait to actually sort of start showing stuff and putting it together. I've got some of the interior arts already done. Somebody's working on the cover. Rachel's working on the hard case.
Yeah,
but,
she's really good.
She is.
Yeah, this is not a gig for impatient people, and yet here we are doing this to ourselves. And like I feel so like there are times where I'm so stressed about it that I'm resentful of it being in my life, so that I have this thing to be stressed about, and I have to like reality check myself of I made this choice. I did this to myself. Nobody made me do it. There is no higher boss that said I had to do this. I did this to myself, and I just want to know what's wrong with me that I made this choice while also trying to finish drafting on book 3.
How are you finding writing with the Kickstarter sort of eating your brain in the background?
It's this weird cycle of like no matter which thing I work on, I feel guilty because the other thing needs work. So and it takes a surprisingly long time. Maybe it's just me that I underestimate how long things take, but it takes a surprisingly long time to like fire off emails to artists, because it's like I have to communicate clearly enough that this doesn't take longer while they ask me what the fuck I'm talking about. And so, I'll go, okay, I'll take 10 minutes and email Rachel. And half an hour goes by and I'm like typing furiously and thinking, I need to be writing right now. And so that's not fun. I would not recommend this to anybody. Although I thought I would be finished Ash and Stone by now, because when I set this as a deadline, I said I don't want to be working on it in February. I want to be done by the end of January. And the quota that I set myself was like 1,500 words a day. Like, it was totally reasonable to have gotten this fucking book done by now. And yet here I am. So how does it feel? I've been drinking a lot of whiskey at night.
It's fine. Everything's fine here.
Day drink. Yeah, everything's fine.
All right. So how far? Where are you at?
Are you tired just listening to me explain how tired I am?
I don't sleep anymore. I'm always tired. I'm just used to that now. How freakishly large is book 3 so far?
It's approximately 1 brainwash, and it's going to be approximately 1 brick and bone. So, like, there's still quite a bit left, but also it's almost there. And I'm trying to figure out if there's anything I can say without like totally spoiling the other 2 books. Like,
probably not too much, but it's going to be good. It will be fantastic. You will want to purchase and read this.
People are shooting guns at each other finally, and it feels so good to be like in that now, because
do you find yourself hesitant to actually write the big thing you've been like working towards for 2 books?
Yes and no. Because like on the one hand, it is stressful because it's like, this has to be satisfying enough to be worth 500,000 words in the other 2 books. So like it has to come up high enough, but at the same time, there's more to come after. So it's like this weird balance of, I'm really sorry, dear reader, this is not going to be solved today.
Yeah.
And it's a really weird feeling to be this far, but also not that far, because
you're not at the stage where you just kill every single character and go, guess what? There's not going to be another book.
Yeah, and like I've been eyeballing characters like that could be a good one, but I had these ideas for you, so like I don't know, do I change my mind and just drop you or not? And so that's a weird math. Like is that character's death worth more than the unsaid potential for what I thought I would do with them? No.
I think there has to be a cost. And
Oh
that
yeah,
means some
are
loved characters must fall.
There are some that were marked from the beginning that we're going to go down, but there's one specifically that I'm like, oh, buddy, you could have a really heroic end, pal. What do you think? So his future is undetermined at the moment. I think the hardest part about doing this in a third book, though, is like I have 4 people who are pretty severely wounded, and so it's like the fantasy genre demands that they go fight, but then like my pet peeve is like that person has a concussion, he can't stand up straight. Like why is he capable of doing that?
No one actually gets concussed in fantasy. They just take blow after blow to the skull, exactly, shake it off.
Exactly. And so it's like that's another one where I'm playing the math of like, you know, how stubbornly do I want to stick to the fact that this man has been shot in the shoulder, he should not be on a horse, versus, but it's really cool when he gets on the horse and goes and slays the enemy. So it's like, I'm having this really weird argument with 2 different potentials, and it's a weird place to be in a third book out of a couple more. People are shooting at each other, though. Yeah. That's the highlight of this conversation. People are finally shooting at each other. Tasha got his cavalry saber out. It was amazing. It was like, yes!
Alrighty. And on that note...
Yeah, on that note.
Thanks for
went really fast.
Joining us, folks. And join us next week when we talk about something else super important.
I thought you were thanking me like a guest, and I was like, fuck, I come here every single time.
Yeah, I'm not thanking you like a guest. You're not a fucking guest. You're supposed to be the host.
I forgot that we have to also address the audience, which is the reason that I went through such great mental energy not to spoil my own book. So I don't know why it surprises me. It's been a lot of coffee kind of day. Mm-hmm. It's funny that yours says not enough coffee in the world. I attempted to drink it all today by accident. It's coffee. So there you go.
We're
thanking the guests for apologizing for one of the hosts being extra insane. Hopefully this makes a really good episode while you try to figure out what's wrong with me.
Is there anything we didn't talk about?
Yeah.
We got it all.
Was there? Yeah, we did all the important stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so at this point, I now beg the guests, please go save my Kickstarter page, so that I can. It's really nice. It's really pretty. Like it's going to be a blue cloth cover with silver foil. And the design that Rachel did is so good, and we're working on the back now, with that tagline from the series, and then we're gonna have some guns on the spine and everything. And it's just like, oh, I want this to exist so badly. So please go give me your money. I'm gonna have do I have any? Oh, God damn it, I think they're upstairs. I should have brought them down because I knew I was going to be talking about this, but I have these woven cloth patches that will be add-ons for the Kickstarter. And so the ones that I have right now are the logo for Umbrella Book Company, which is the publishing name that I have. Mm-hmm. But I'm also going to get Tasha's military tattoo that is described in the book and features on the cover. So I'm going to get patches. So everybody who likes Brightwash can be an honorary member of Maddox's Mad 8th Cavalry with me. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited for those to exist that I'm probably gonna buy them even if nobody else does. So save me from myself, dear reader, and come back my Kickstarter. Thank you. And on that note, I'm gonna leave, and Fletcher's gonna say goodbye.
All right. Bye.
Bye.